Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Crystal. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button. Please do subscribe. It is Sunday evening. I've been on my own all day. I've taken Max out for a walk this morning. I took him out for a walk this afternoon, and I've got to take Max out again this evening. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 7:05 p.m.
So it's 7:05. I've just watched a film on YouTube called I Know What I Saw, also known as Post-Mortem. Very good film. I've just finished watching it. I started watching it just before 6 and it's now 7:05. So I've spent most of the day when I've not been taking Max for a walk just pottering around my flat. I've cooked my own dinner, I've hand washed my own clothes, I've been completely by myself, I've had a phone call, I mean as in not physically with somebody. Somebody messaged me on Flirt Finder, and I'm not answering any messages unless someone is, genuine and wants to meet me for a coffee face to face. They said I, Crystal, looked like a sportswoman. Now the only sportswoman that I know that is around my age-ish is Fatima Whitbread, who was on Celebrity Jungle Get Me Out of Here. Right? I know we have a comedian in our midst, but we also have someone that likes to frighten the life out of somebody and make their life a misery. And we also have a blackmailer and someone that is trying to get money out of me, and I haven't got any. So as you can see, I've been indoors all day. I have not gone out to the co-op. I've not gone shopping, and I've not gone up to see my mother Jennifer. So I haven't received any money either. So tomorrow is going to be exactly the same, and so is Tuesday. Well, not exactly the same, no day's exactly the same, is it? We do different things at different times, and we should be getting some post tomorrow. I'm expecting my torch, which I have had to pay a postage fee because the person didn't put the right postage on it. Now my son Andrew, years ago, used to send me gifts in the mail. Sometimes it was flowers for Valentine's Day, sometimes it was a gift, and sometimes the parcel would arrive late and I would get it after my birthday or after Valentine's Day, or sometimes it used to say the postage was insufficient. I haven't received parcels off my son for a long time now. I had my birthday card early. I had my birthday card early from my son. And remember, I've got 3 sons and 1 daughter, so I've had 1 card already off one of my sons for my birthday on Wednesday. I've had a card from my friend, and at the moment that is it. I don't think I'll be going up to see my mother on Tuesday because I want things to be as it was after I left my ex-husband, where I used to be left alone, sometimes scared out of my mind with nothing. Right? Let's have it the way it was. Before I came down to see my mum and dad, I used to spend a lot of my time scared out of my mind, having police call between 11 and 4 in the morning, asking me if I wanted to self-harm myself. Right? And I lived in a block of flats where I was victimised by the neighbours, and a lot of them were weed addicts. and heroin addicts, and they used to terrorise me, right? This place is not as bad as that at the moment, right? But I couldn't get into the lift this morning, not properly, without looking behind my back. And every time I tend to go out of the property, there's a lot of, I don't know what it is, I don't know what to call it. Jealousy, something, you know, when I can't leave my flat without someone murmuring something. Right, it's 7:10 now, and it's getting dark, and I've got a torch. So they thought that I wouldn't have a torch. I've paid the postage. I should get my torch on Monday. Right, I can cope without my mum. I can cope without the money and the food. You'll see. I don't need to call my mummy. When I was in Gloucestershire, miles and miles away from my mother Jennifer, and I was being terrorised, frightened, dogs thrown into my flat, and I was scared out of my mind, I couldn't go and see my mother, could I? Because my mother was in Chatham and I was in Gloucestershire. So what's the difference now? What makes it different now? Because when someone's afraid of getting caught or afraid of finding out, just terrorise me, right? Scare me. And we've had a lot of that, and my mum thinks she knows how my mind thinks. You know, if someone looks as if they're taking the mickey, or I'm having a dog jump all over me, that I need to phone my mum. Well, I'm just going to call the police. And if someone is attacking me with a dog or with whatever, or trying to frighten me and scare me, you call 999, right? I'm an adult. I don't need my mother. If I don't get a birthday card from my mum, it doesn't matter. Do you know, I lived for 22 years in Gloucestershire, guys. My mum didn't come and visit me once. Yes, she sent postal orders. She never sent me large amounts of money. She sent me postal orders. And when I came down from Gloucestershire to Chatham, my mum was receiving housekeeping money from my dad, which amounted to £200 or £300 a week. When I came from Gloucestershire to Chatham, I was now nearly down to a size 8 in weight because I was worried to death. I wasn't eating, I had no money. And I remember what went on, and it's not going to happen down here. Right? So my mum, I was up in Gloucestershire for 22 years before I came down to Chatham in 2008. My parents never came to visit me. I didn't get loads of money. I was starving to death, literally. And I had a black eye. And someone had belted me over the head with a lift bar, a metal lift bar. And I had a black eye and a cut face. And when Charlie said to me, "What is that cut by your eye? What is that scar?" somebody attacked me in Gloucestershire and nearly killed me with a metal bar. And I remember everything. And I've been through a lot. And I know torture techniques, starvation, you know, lack of sleep, sleep deprivation, noise, lights in your eyes. We should all know that I'm used to that by now. You should all know that. That was 15 years ago what was done to me. 15 years ago what was done to me, and I haven't forgotten, and I never will. and I'm supposed to be mentally ill with no help and support. I can't look after myself, guys. Well, I think I'm doing a really good job, don't you? I don't know what's going on and what everybody's up to, but I'm watching you. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Transport costs, all of those things
Most of
have
it's
gone up.
not paperwork, it's actually all done through electronic declarations. But the key point is, you touched on inflation. The key driver of inflation has been the huge energy costs because of the absolute obsession that this government of Westminster has had with net zero. The Prime Minister has finally woken up and smelled coffee. He's actually so terrified of how well Reform are doing, he's starting to adopt some of our policies in order to try and recover some votes. It's the huge increase in energy costs that has driven the increase in business costs, in food costs, and that is a key thing. We've got to get our energy costs down. That's why we've got to use our own energy, and we've got to be much more self-reliant on our own energy as opposed to importing it from everywhere else. We've got so much energy treasure under our feet, we should be using it instead of banning it and taxing it.
You said that this hopeless government has squandered the manifold opportunities of Brexit. I'd love you to have a listen. The Belgian MEP, Guy Verhofstadt, yesterday addressed the Rejoin March. He also came into LBC and he has identified a lesser spotted benefit of Brexit. Have a quick listen to this.
One of the only positive things of Brexit has been that we have seen on the continent a sort of a reaction by the public opinion saying, we have also some criticism toward the European Union, but we are not so stupid as the Brits to leave it. That was the general reaction.
So Richard Tice, Guy Verhofstadt says the other countries are not so stupid as we are to leave the EU, however flawed. What's your reaction to that?
I think, frankly, it's just deeply disrespectful and rude for a foreign politician to come to someone else's country and to tell the citizens of that country that we're stupid. And he's not going to endear himself. And if there ever is a second referendum on the European Union, the British people are not going to react very kindly when people like that say that we're stupid at the same time as he is continually trying to seek more transfer of powers from the EU member states into the bureaucratic Brussels, where there is a complete lack of democracy. I know because I've been there as a MEP briefly. So I just think that he shouldn't be going to non-EU states and calling their citizens stupid.
But I suppose his underlying point, it was disrespect.
Why did LBC give him a platform? I mean, he's an overseas politician that's got no jurisdiction on us. I mean, why did you
He
give
used to be the Prime Minister of Belgium. He was a good choice of guest for Matt Fry's show. But actually, the point he was making was not that the Leave voters were stupid or that the country was stupid. No. He did say that, but what he was really trying to say was that Brexit ended up as a vaccine rather than an epidemic. When it came to the Leave tendency, it became not enough. Everyone was frightened it would be a contagious event. It turned out to be an inoculative event, if that's a word. And we didn't have Italexit, we didn't have Frexit, we didn't have Dexit, we didn't have Grexit at all. In fact, we've got Ukraine wanting to join the EU.
I rather like that idea that Brexit is a vaccine, because basically it cured the British people of the woeful bungling bureaucracy of Brussels. Thank heavens we're cured, we're healthy, we're free.
Okay, so so now we're cured of the bungling bureaucracy. What's better about Britain now we've left? Richard Tace, I mean, please don't mention the vaccine rollout or our leadership of the fight against Putin and the war in Ukraine, okay? What other benefits have there been?
Well, the great thing is we've got this freedom to make our own decisions as an independent sovereign nation, whether it's on taxes, whether it's on trade deals with the fastest growing area, for example, in Asia, whether it's on immigration. All of these things are opportunities that we can take advantage of, some of which the government has done, but in my view, they have been far too slow. We can get rid of the huge realms and reams and thousands of unnecessary EU regulations so that we can become a dynamic, high-growth economy again. Let's just remember, for all of those thinking that, oh, we'd be so much better in the cuddly bureaucracy of Brussels, the biggest single economy in the European Union, called Germany, is in recession, has been for many quarters, and is struggling hugely. Mainly, as I say, for the same reason that actually we're not growing as quickly as we should be, because of their massively high energy costs. So, it's not exactly a nirvana of high growth and joy within the European Union, is it?
I know, and if you had listened to the rest of Matt Fry's show, where he had hosted Guy Verhofstadt yesterday, Matt Fry also detailed the number of centre or very far right governments that are taking control in Europe. Is this a club that we would want to be a member of? And we will be addressing that later in the hour. Can I just ask you lastly, Richard, if Labour do win as expected the next general election, and there is talk not of rejoining the EU, they've ruled that out, but of rejoining the institutions, the single market, the customs union, what would Reform's response to that be?
We would be campaigning hard against anything that takes us any closer to a failing bureaucratic bureaucracy. We need to move further away from it so that we can trade with high growth areas around the world, so that we can become a high growth dynamic economy again, smartly regulated, not daftly regulated. So we would campaign very hard against that. And I think that if Labour was to do that, they would feel the wrath of traditional Labour voters in areas like the Red Wall. I'll be standing
But
in a
you
Red
say
Wall
that,
seat.
but why would they mind so much when they voted in 2016?
I tell you exactly why they
Wait.
mind.
When they voted in 2016, we were told, the country was told, that there was no prospect of leaving the single market and the customs union. It was only until the Lancaster House speech that Theresa May delivered that those two red lines were written into the withdrawal arrangement or agreement. So why would they mind so much if we went back in?
I'll tell you why they mind, because they want the freedom to be a sovereign, independent nation that controls its own decisions, whether it's on trade, whether it's on the economy, whether it's on immigration. And a lot of people want much less immigration into this country, and it's quite clear that both the main two parties basically want open borders, mass immigration. That's not what the majority of the British people want.
And of course, rejoining the single market would mean the full freedoms, which would mean free movement and no control of the border. But thank you. That's all we've got time for, Richard
Great
Tice.
pleasure.
We will be speaking very shortly to a former Greek finance minister, Yanis Varoufakis. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Richard Tice, the leader of the Reform UK Party. Good night. The time is 7:22. You're listening to me, Rachel Johnson. I'm going to get straight to your calls on whether you've got regrets, and we'll...
Right, guys, that was LBC Radio. I'm getting ready to take Max, my dog, out for a walk. It is dark. There's been people moving into the opposite flats all day, so they've been walking up and down the path with furniture. Obviously items like cookers, cupboards, tables. I've just kept myself indoors with the blinds down. Obviously when dogs start barking or a car hoots, you go over towards the window and look and see what's going on. So I could see people moving into the third floor flat opposite me. They've been up and down all day, moving in, bringing things by hand. Two of them up and down the path. I moved into here 3 years ago. Obviously my furniture is probably old and tatty now, but I'm quite happy with it. I've not lost my temper. There has been a few thuds on the ceiling, and I'm not angry in the slightest. I'm happy with what I've got. I'm just fighting my cause, and I hope that one day someone will actually listen to what I'm saying. See you later.